Eggnog in the mustache of my father is funny. Ha 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 ha. Eggnog in the mustache of my father is funny. Ha 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 ha.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special holiday edition of Tell Me About Your Song, the podcast in which I talk to musicians and songwriters about a song they've written. Today, I'm talking to the Sentimental Favorites.
My name is Sonny.
And I'm Jeff Griffin.
And the song they're going to be talking about is named Roelle Family Christmas and is from their album, The Unrelenting Sentimental Favorites. So, insert jingle bells here. Where do you guys want to start?
We are proud of our holiday engagement with our audience. Sentimental Favorites had a holiday matinee that we did for many years at AS220. We would pick a afternoon in December. It was a number of different acts and musical acts, but we also had performance art and people doing readings. And the idea was to introduce some of the Christmas spirit into that AS220 space and also celebrate a family-friendly rock show. The Christmas element of it was what's left when you take Christ out of Christmas. Mm-hmm. So we discovered when we thought that through that it's about candy and presents and nice people and music and family and decorations. So we would decorate the AS220 performance space and had left out crayons and dishes of candy for the kids, and there was coloring, which was fun because it was fun finding random black and white art for kids to color. We would announce a gift swap, which is a fun thing to do with strangers. And we would seed under the tree. We would seed it with 5 or 6 gifts out of our basements, and then people could leave a gift and take a gift, which was a fun way to introduce people to each other. I would fry dough during the whole show so that there'd be something hot and savory to eat. And performers over the year include you, Jacob. Also, the Super Chief Trio performed. We had the Iditarod, Deer Tick, Dan Blakesley.
Will Schaff played one year.
The Double Decker Dance Band. Richard Goulis did a performance piece with the Toxic Santa Claus. And that was a little scary, but still fun. And it turned out to be, it was a lot of work for us to do during the holiday season, but it turned out to be a lot of fun too. Oh, and the other thing was that we would make a holiday CD, which was only available at those events. And someday we ought to do a compilation of all of those because there were fun versions of songs that never surfaced again.
It'll be in the box set.
So Roelle Family Christmas. Oh, and then the other idea was also to nudge people to writing their own original holiday-themed material.
One of the caveats of playing was you had to play a holiday song.
Yes.
Not, at least one.
Yes, and it being AS220, we were encouraging people to write their own originals. And the song that we've chosen for today, Roelle Family Christmas, is in many ways a celebration of what happens when you take Christ out of Christmas in America in the 1980s. Sonny, can you talk about the song?
I don't remember writing the song.
Perfect. All right.
I think it happened really quick. In 5 minutes, maybe it was written. And it was just me describing what the typical Christmas celebration with my immediate family is like. More so what it was like in the 80s and 90s. Things have changed since we've gotten older and moved away and have our own families, etc. So yeah, it was really just almost a bullet point list of things that are involved at Christmas time with my people.
With all of Sonny's songs, Sonny comes in and it all seems he will sing the song, and often 90% of the time the structure's all fully formed already, and it's always pretty obvious to me what to do, which has been a nice way that he and I have clicked for a long time. So there's not a lot of suffering over. He has trusts whatever harmonic motion I'm putting underneath his notes, or at least is nice to go and change his melody to match whatever it is that I happen to be playing underneath him. So that whole side of it's been really quick and easy. One thing that I like about the song is that it's a sentimental family childhood Christmas song, but instead of being sort of melancholy or old-timey, it's manic and fired up in the way that a 7-year-old at Christmas time is. And it's a hectic song, and it's hard to even tell what's going on. And it's full of stammers and stutters and stops and starts, which I appreciate, because that's what I remember. I can't sleep because I'm just tearing through the Garfield books, trying to get as much out of this whole 24 hours as I possibly can.
Eggnog in the mustache of my father is funny. Ha 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 ha. Eggnog in the mustache of my father is funny. Ha 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 ha. Every Christmas, my mother makes this amazing eggnog that is just... It's weird. I was thinking on the way here how I was going to describe this eggnog, and I couldn't come up with a way to describe it that didn't sound disgusting.
That's the way of eggnog.
Yeah, eggnog is gross.
This eggnog, it's not like, if you buy it in the store, it's really liquidy. It's like a kind of a beige color. Like, it's not that. And there's no alcohol in this eggnog. It's kind of like a really fluffy Cool Whip, but tastes more like eggnog. It's gallons of heavy cream.
Butter and sugar.
Whipped up. And so it would be made in this gigantic yellow Tupperware bowl and set out Christmas Eve, and there'd just be a ladle in it, and you would ladle into these little glass mugs that you could fit like one finger through the handle of, and you would kind of plop it in there, and you would kind of drink it, but really kind of just like tip the glass up to your mouth and kind of slurp it out. Like, it didn't move very quickly. And so my father, having a mustache, of course, every time he tipped this glass up to drink out of it, his mustache was full of this fluff. And as children, we were endlessly delighted by this. And then when we got older, it became like shtick. I mean, it was probably shtick when we were little too, but it just had to happen. Dad had to tilt the eggnog up, and we all had to go, look at his mustache, and he'd be like, what do you mean? And then he'd kind of like mug, and like just make faces, and then kind of like blow it up into his nose and stuff, so that was hilarious. Funny. Ha, 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 ha. Christmas time at the Roelles, Lego sets and stocking sweaters, socks and magazines. Someone always gets a bowling shoebox from the 80s that later will hold the angel top the tree that grandma made. So the first verse is talking about, it's like presents, right? Or it's like Christmas morning. So typical presents. Every year there's a Lego set in a stocking, which was my mother's way. We were allowed to open our stockings first, like before everybody was up and stuff. If you would get up, you'd get your stocking. There'd be little presents in it, and you could open those and do whatever. And it was a way for my parents to maybe sleep in a little bit and be able to wake up and make a pot of coffee before opening presents. So there were Lego sets in it, which would keep us busy because of course we'd have to open them up and build them, and that, save 10 minutes.
Yeah, we had the same system. There's always an orange in the toe.
My grandparents always put an orange and then an envelope from the bank with a crisp dollar bill.
Nice. Ooh, yeah, I like that. Classy.
Yeah, yeah. And magazines, because you could sit and read a magazine. It was usually Mad magazine or like Model Railroaders. I don't know. One of the things that was always under the tree wrapped up with someone's present in it was a shoebox that was from my dad's bowling shoes. And And it was always like, who gets the shoebox this year? And somebody would open it up. I got the shoebox. Yeah. And it was just like whatever present conveniently fit in the shoebox. But then as we started bringing, significant others home for their first Christmas with the family, they would get the shoebox just to kind of like welcome them in, make them a part of the, right. And then after Christmas, when things get taken down, the crocheted angel that my grandmother had made, it's like crocheted over, I don't know, a cardboard cone that has tinfoil wrapped around it, that would get put in the shoebox and then packed away. So my father
so it wasn't just your dad's current pair of bowling shoes.
No, it was like sometime
specific bowling shoe.
It looks like the early 80s. He bought a pair of bowling shoes, and this box somehow survived much longer than the shoes did.
That's wonderful.
So, and that helped keep the box preserved was, you pack it away with the Christmas decorations for the next year.
Christmas Eve is shrimp cocktail, little meatballs, cookies, and fudge. And Christmas Day we will eat lasagna. On the ride home, I'll snack on stocking food like nerds and combos and turkey, French fried onion rings that I love. I can't wait for egg.
So the first verse is presents, mostly. Then the second verse is food. And because food is pretty important, even though it's not like a giant production, it's, for a long time, it was Christmas Eve. It would just be the immediate family at home. We'd go to church for the Christmas Eve service, and then we'd come home and, people would go off into bedrooms and wrap presents, and there would kind of be a buffet of these little cocktail meatballs that my mom makes that are awesome, and shrimp cocktail, which was always like set out that morning to thaw because it was a frozen thing, and Christmas cookies, like sugar cookies that were frosted, and fudge, a couple of different kinds of fudge, and just a lot of junk food. And then like Christmas specials on TV, like old Christmas specials, and then eventually we'd all go off to our room. And one thing I didn't talk about in there was my personal holiday tradition was Christmas Eve, not being able to sleep because you're so excited. So I would just read Garfield treasuries until I fell asleep, and I would just, I would get through an entire Garfield book and then just pass out. So every time I see a Garfield treasury now, it's Christmas Eve.
Wow.
Yeah.
I really don't like Garfield.
Speaking of Garfield, one of our Christmas traditions briefly was lasagna on Christmas Day.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think mostly because of this song, my mom then felt like the need, like she felt like I had to have lasagna on Christmas Day. And I remember there was a year or two, not too long ago, where she's like, I'm not making lasagna. I'm sorry. I'm not making lasagna. Is that okay? Like I don't care. I eat anything. I mean, it's just what was happening at the time of the song. That's what I wrote in there. And the other food is my stocking goodies that, from the age of 17 on, I lived 400 miles away. So I would be home for Christmas, and then I'd have a 400-mile drive back to where I was living, whether it was Baltimore or Providence. And the whole ride was stocking goodies, to snack on. And there was those bags of combos and nerds and the Durkee French fried onion rings, which are those onion rings that come in a can that you put on bean casseroles. One can is probably 1,000 calories, but I would eat the entire can on a car ride and a bag combos. It was really disgusting, but delicious.
I can't wait for eggnog in the mustache of my father is funny, ha 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 ha. Eggnog in the
So at the end, it kind of descends into incoherence.
And you gotta end the song somehow.
Yeah, and I wanted to sing, so I get that little that eggnog.
Yeah, which it just sounds good. The incoherence, I mean, like I could have sung that verse 3 times, but like why not just let it break? I mean,
like I feel like I've seen you do it live where that part of the song goes on a lot longer.
sometimes live, a lot of our songs go on a lot longer
Yeah,
than they should.
Like 2 minutes. Yeah.
One time, I kept the snowplow song. I kept going so
I
long
set off to work one morning.
that, you know, this is a song where it kind of, through the song, kind of count up the inches and feet of snow until it gets to 100, or like, till 100, and then like that's the end.
But they weren't doing a very good job. I mean, it's like they're afraid to let the blade actually touch the snow. Instead, it just skims right across the top, and that is no help at all. So I say, put your plow down, mister, help us out. It's getting deep, 4 inches about. Well, put your plow down, mister, help us out. It's getting tough to drive around here with all the snow. Well, put your plow down, mister, help us out. It's getting deep, 18 inches about. Well,
So typically now it's like 4, 18, 30, 50, 80, 100. But there was one Christmas holiday show that we did that I started 4, and then I might have went to like 10, and then 50, like 18, and 25, and
tough to drive around here with all the snow. Well, put your plow down, mister, help us out. It's getting deep, 80 inches about. Well, put your plow down, mister.
just like went on forever to the point where Jeff stopped playing. He just stopped and just waited for me to get up to 100, and then we finished the song. I felt really bad. I felt really bad about that. I was like, wow, I went on way too long.
Plow down, mister, help us out. It's getting tough to drive around here with all the snow.
Do you have any stories about performing this song?
I think it's as a solid go-to song if we're starting to lose the audience. That is a hit.
I think every holiday show probably, and maybe because our songs are short, so our sets are short, and we only have a few holiday or winter songs, so we can't do a whole set. And a lot of the holiday shows we always kept family friendly because there were kids there, and most of our topics aren't really of interest to kids. But anyway, it's a long way to say that we would start the show with Roelle Family Christmas and end the show with Roelle Family Christmas.
And probably played a couple times in the middle there too.
Yeah, it was maybe when we were starting to lose the crowd. Okay, we'll play this one, and then that's it. Merry Christmas, everybody.
So if people want to hear more music, what should they do?
Well,
Invite us over.
well, we have I think we have sentimentalfavorites.com,
And you're definitely on Bandcamp.
and we're on Bandcamp as well.
75 or less.
Yep.
Still has, I think, all but one of the CDs that we heaped on them years ago.
Because they've sold one of them.
Did they? Or I don't even know.
And if you order a CD through Bandcamp, the next 5 people that buy them through Bandcamp will get a free poster.
That has every lyric.
Nice. And so we're recording this on September 1st. And I haven't taken my air conditioner out. But I'll probably release this in early December. So, Christmas shopping.
There you go. It makes a great gift.
Yes.
If you, we have, it's, man, everybody will just love this album. Oh my God.
It's a good record.
I like it a lot.
Good.
If people are interested in checking out my music or my other projects, I have as I record this, a new website, jacobhaller.com, that has links to everything. And I have a website for this podcast at tellmeaboutyoursong.com. And I'm going to put together a blog post with links to the Sentimental Favorites albums and everything, and maybe some other things we talked about. And people can find that at yoursongpodcast.tumblr.com. And I've been trying to put together transcripts for all the episodes and post those as well. So that will be there too. And with that said, we'll go out by listening to the song we've been talking about, Roelle Family Christmas by the Sentimental Favorites. Enjoy.
Eggnog in the mustache of my father is funny, ha 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 ha. eggnog in the mustache of my father is funny, ha 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 ha. Christmas time at the Rollies, Lego sets and stocking sweaters, socks and magazines. Someone always gets a bowling shoebox from the 80s that later will hold the angel top the tree that grandma made. Eggnog in the mustache of my father is funny, ha 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 ha. Eggnog in the mustache of my father is funny, ha 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 ha. Christmas Eve is shrimp cocktail, little meatballs, cookies, and fudge. And Christmas Day we will eat lasagna. On the ride home, I'll snack on stocking food like nerds and combos and turkey, French fried onion rings that I love. I can't wait for eggnog in the mustache of my father is funny, ha 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 ha. Eggnog in the
The shoebox makes me think of, so now, and being a parent, we're my wife and I are always surprised and delighted, but often surprised, and we will forget what has become a tradition because we don't realize the sort of irrational way that something that happens once can become the thing that we do every year, and the things that we knock ourselves out on, the kids are completely oblivious to the point where we've raised our kids as Santa Claus atheists, and we've been quite upfront with them that Santa Claus doesn't exist, and that from Santa is a nice way to it's just a nice way to give a gift totally anonymously from one person to the other. So the kids, when they were little, would pick out something for mom from Santa, and that would be like even more fun because then they wouldn't know that it was Judy's present for Santa, for mom. And that game, but then it quickly curdled from, well, curdled is a strong word, but they went from, whereas other kids believe in Santa but suspect that maybe it's not true, we found ourselves with kids that we were telling them that Santa wasn't true, and they began to suspect strongly that maybe Santa Claus, their parents were not telling them the whole truth, and that there was really a Santa Claus, and that they were on to us. Wow. And their little secret, because they would each year would be some kind of like, well, then how did this get in the house, or like, well, who ate, and Judy will still say, who ate the carrot for the reindeer, because Dad doesn't like carrots. And so it couldn't have been Dad, so it must have been the reindeer. We're
still debating what to do about the Santa
Your guys
dilemma.
Are 2, 3?
They're 3. They just turned 3, and it wasn't anything we did. I mean, they go to daycare a couple of days a week, and other than that, Santa's everywhere, and they just know about Santa through all of that. Santa came to their daycare.
Oh, man.
And so it was like it wasn't because we told them. They love Santa. They're all about it. I don't think they understand what the concept of Santa is and that he brings gifts or anything. They just, as a character, they love Santa. So we're not going to fight that. Like, go ahead and love Santa. That's great. We're not telling them anything is real or isn't real. We're just, and it's kind of like has grown to tradition and Pam's family and in mine, where the big present of the day is what's still written from Santa. There's no, I think that just tells you that, this one you open last, kind of thing.
One thing my parents did to move us off of the Santa thing and sort of break it to us, because we were getting a little old for it, which we do in our house too. So I guess it's a tradition that, in spite of, it's an anti-Santa tradition. they would give me when I got a baseball glove, it would be from Reggie Jackson. Or
That's cool.
The from would be a clue. So our kids get presents from, and it's fun to be obscure, not have it be from Harry Potter, but have it be from Neville Longbottom. And then they're like, and to the point where then they say, well, Dad doesn't know about the Harry Potter books, and so it must be Santa that wrote Neville Longbottom on there.
Your kids are Santa Claus truthers.
But that's a fun game. Though it does get a little like 1 a.m. on Christmas Eve. It can be a little bit patience testing to be sitting there thinking of clever things to make all of the gifts from. But
My mom used to make codes, like number codes, and put them on the gifts that were put out, like the week before Christmas, that like stayed on a tree. So we would have that week to like do like figure out math riddles to figure out whose present was which one. Which the first couple of years we were like really into, I think, and really tried to figure it out. And sometimes we did, and sometimes didn't. But then, it continued for a while, and we eventually were like, if we don't figure it out, she's just gonna hand us the right present anyway. Like, it's not like we don't get it if we don't figure it out. So it kind of like lost its luster, and we just got presents.
that's a good example of the kind of tradition that a parent will knock themselves out on, and the kids are completely ungrateful.